Okay.
You have my sheets?
All right.
Oh,
So let me get my little handy dandy questionnaire out.
Here. Yeah.
Okay. So the reason I wanted to do this is because when Papa passed away, I felt like, I wish I could have had something with him, like questions and answers, and just to be able to talk to him. And if I could have that to see, it would make me so happy. So y'all are still here and thriving, and why not? And I want my kids and everybody's kids, the grandkids, to be able to have something to see and hear.
So you are recording this then, right?
Yes, right now.
But she's not, so I shouldn't talk about anything now.
Yes,
now you're nothing that's incriminating because you're being recorded.
Okay.
Okay. So do you want to start the questions, or would you like me to?
Are you going to ask us the questions?
Yeah. Is that okay?
No, yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Just let me, but in addition to the questions, you had a section like, what am I hoping for in the future, and would I marry you over again? So I've written that out myself.
But she didn't give us that, sweetheart. That came from our daily stuff.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And you guys can add in anything anytime you want.
Well, okay. I'm telling you, your granddad has written really good stuff.
Well, this is exactly why I'm doing this, because I cannot wait to hear it, and everybody else is going to be the same way. Okay, so I'll start with, so I call you grandma, because, I'm a rebel, and everybody else calls you grandmother and granddad. So tell everyone your real name and where you're from.
Okay, should I start since I'm the girl?
Ladies first.
Okay, my real name is Elaine, and I was born in Kentucky at home. The doctor came to deliver me on a horse, and mother had been out in the pepper patch, picking peppers when she went into labor. And there is no place, just Kentucky. We lived out in the country, way out in the country. The thing about my name that's interesting, besides that it's ugly, is that mother had a friend, her name was Bakel Horsley, and she was just crying and moaning because she never had any children, and that her name was so ugly that nobody would ever even give her a namesake. Mother says, "Oh, don't worry about it, I will." And so that's how I got to be Bakel.
Love it.
I thought you would.
Okay, well, mine is not quite so exciting. I was born at St. Mary and Elizabeth Hospital, and I was a city boy. And my name is Jim, although none of my grandkids call me Jim. They all call me either granddad or something like that.
Yep. Granddad, you only have one name.
It was in Louisville, Kentucky. No, my name is James Elaine Shanks, and Allen was my mother's maiden name. That's how I got
Okay. So James Allen was your mother's maiden name, and then Dad and Clay have that middle name. Does anybody else have that middle name?
Well, her maiden name was Allen, not James Allen. Okay, I'm James Allen, and Clay is Clay Allen. Yeah.
Yeah. So are those
Cole Allen? So we carried that name through.
Right. Okay, and that's the only boys that have Allen so far. And then I have Elaine. Does anybody else have Elaine?
No.
Nope.
You're the only one.
All right.
So we'll name all the rest of them Bakel.
Yes, I'm gonna name my granddaughter Bakel after her great grandmother. Okay.
That's cool.
So tell us your parents' names and one great quality from each parent. So yes.
My mother and daddy's names are Howard and Evelyn Compton, Compton. And the two things about them would be where they were hardworking and very honest. And they came from poor families, but they were married during the Depression of the 30s. So they started with very little, but Pop did so well.
Because he was a hard worker.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Well, my dad's name was William Arthur Shanks, but nobody ever called him William. He was Art. He went by his middle name,
Ah.
Mark. And I think the thing I remember about my dad died when he was 54. Okay, and I was in the army at the time. I was either 19. I think I was probably 19 then. But what I remember about him is everybody liked my dad. They all liked
you.
him. Well,
True.
and my mother's name was Catherine Mary Allen before she was married. And what I remember about her, well, I mean, she lived to be 84. She was really a party girl. She was like the life of the party. So they're very different. My dad was real quiet, and my mother was just over the top all the time.
That is very interesting.
Kind of normal.
Yes, that is very interesting. So, okay. So your dad was laid back like you are, and your mom was the life of the party like grandma is.
Yeah, well, it's he was he had a quiet personality, kind of stoicism. The last 5 years of his life, he was in and out of the hospitals. He had cancer, but he was pretty tough to go through it all.
Right.
Mom, though, was very, very loving. She just loved everybody, you know. So
that is so interesting. You know, dad's like the life of the party. He had mom, and then I'm kind of not the life of the party, but I have Brandon. You know, it's really strange how you, yeah,
well, you opposites.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah, that's wild. I didn't know his mom was like that.
Well, you don't remember Grandmother Shanks, do you?
Never. Never.
She died. Let's see, you'll be 30 what this year?
33 maybe?
Okay, 33. And she died with the year that
about 33 years ago.
No, it'll be
Sarah, I'm gonna need you to go. Thank you.
34 years. She'll have died 34 years in March.
I mean it.
Are you okay? And she died in my hospital, and I was in the room.
Did she? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was in the room with her when she drew her last breath.
Wow, and she was 84?
Right.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So,
I'm 85 right now. So.
Wow, and your dad died so young.
Yeah, 54.
And
she never got remarried?
No.
She was pretty, very pretty. Upstairs in the red bedroom.
Yeah.
There's pictures of her and Mr. Shanks with the day they got married. She was a beautiful woman.
I didn't know that. That's just okay. You have to show me when I come visit.
Okay, what's next?
Okay, so what's one trait that you inherited from your parents, I guess, as a parent?
Well, I would say that what I inherited from Mother and Daddy is to take care of what you have. Okay. We didn't throw a bike away because it got a flat tire. You changed that. Daddy always took care of his car. I always take care of my car.
Right.
And as a child, they were very loving because they had not come from good homes where they were loved. And they loved me to death, what they actually did. But
yes, spoiled you to death.
Spoiled, exactly.
And then I have to pick up the pieces. So anyway.
Ooh, I love it.
Lord.
Actually, I kind of read the wrong thing. What I got from my dad, I think, was my quiet personality. Okay. And from my mom is loving attitude towards others, because I don't have any. I like everybody.
Yes. Grandma, you're very loving, and Granddad, yes, everybody loves you. So that's very true.
You know, the problem is I can't figure out why people do love me, because I'm just kind of crazy.
Everybody does. It's crazy. I mean, you guys can go into a room. It doesn't matter if there's 2 people or 100, and it seems like everybody kind of attracts to you. It's crazy.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's this thing about your personality and your aura. People come to you.
Well, I actually believe it's God put it inside of me. It's nothing I work up at all.
I just think it's natural. I think you're fun. You're always laughing, and people just attract to that.
Well, that's a sweet thing.
Yeah. I mean, the people that, didn't spill something on the floor, it would be like, oh, grandma's mad. No, you've always been loving to me. Okay, so let's see. Okay, we're gonna skip now. This is gonna be interesting. So, how did you even hear about Granddad, or vice versa? Granddad, how'd you hear about Grandma? And then your first impression, and you can be honest.
All right. Well, we are.
Okay.
How July 21st, 1959.
Okay.
I was ironing for the first time since Christmas, and this girl called me. Her name's Betty, and she wanted me to come down to Schulte's tap room and meet this guy who was there because he was tall enough for me. I said,
Love
no,
it.
man, I can't do that. I said, I'm ironing. And
That
then I had the children too.
Yes.
I've never been really sure what I did with the kids, but
right.
anyway, about midnight, I went down.
They survived.
They did, didn't they? So when I got down there, this place was jazz, and there was a trio playing, and one of the guys that was playing was her boyfriend, and Jim was there, and he was tall.
Very.
He was nice looking, but totally not interested in talking. So I went down the road, down the street to a couple of doors to another bar.
Yes.
And to visit a drummer friend that I had. And when I got back, I think it was kind of like over. And and so Betty asked us to come to her apartment, which was not too terribly far away, for coffee and donuts. And so all four of us did do that.
Really? Coffee and donuts? Are you just saying that?
No, that's the truth.
Okay.
It was 2:00 in the morning. There were no more bars open.
So you guys all met back at the apartment?
Yeah.
Even Granddad?
Yeah.
He was up that late?
Well, he was young.
Wow.
Oh, come on.
Okay.
And her apartment was one room.
Okay.
And so, like, the bed was here. Right next to it was the couch. Her kitchen was a closet.
Wow.
It was one room. So the boy sat on the couch, and I sat down on the bed.
And fell asleep. And I decided, well, I guess I made a real impression on her. She just went to sleep.
Seriously.
Now, I wrote this part out for myself yesterday. So
okay.
Can I read it then?
Of course.
And this is under the caption of Would I Marry You Again? Okay.
Okay.
So when I was young, I always assumed that I would get married. My parents were happily married, and they seemed really to enjoy one another. I just hadn't had any serious relationships with anybody. And when I met Elaine, I was just out at a jazz club to listen to music, and I wasn't looking to meet anybody. When we met at the club, I'm sure she thought I was pretty boring. I didn't talk very much. But then after 9 months of dating and finding out that she already had 2 children, I did ask her to marry me.
That's nothing big.
And actually, I can vividly remember the night that I asked her, and I was very excited that she seemed so happy to get my proposal, because I didn't have anything to offer. I mean, I worked in a lousy job, factory. I didn't have any advanced education. Her life was much more stable than mine. I mean, she had a house and a car, and I didn't have either.
That's great.
You had a pair of khaki pants, though.
Yes, yes. I can't wait to hear about those.
As far as the marriage was concerned, I was in kind of a haze during the service. I mean, she'd been married before this, but this was all new to me. And we had our share of adjustment problems at the beginning. But it was very important that I became a Christian just 2 weeks prior to the wedding. But all in all, I guess I'd sum it up by saying I really had no idea what kind of a prize I was getting. Okay, in those early days. So the rest of it's on Would I Marry Again, but I'll skip that right now.
Okay,
of course you would.
What's next?
Okay, so first date was the one where she fell asleep on you. Okay, impressions, I guess, we got that. Occupation, you were at a lousy job, you said?
I was working in I'd already got out of the Army. I joined the Army when I was 18, so I was already out of the Army, and I got a job it was a box factory making cardboard boxes.
What? Oh, that sounds interesting.
Well, it really wasn't. So,
And Grandma, what did you do?
I was a bookkeeper in a loan company.
Oh, well, that makes perfect sense.
Doesn't it?
Yes. Okay, let's see. Because you have to be so organized and to do all that. You have to be to the penny and to the T. And you keep all this stuff now with Granddad. Like you do all the banking and look
Yeah,
at the money.
everything.
Yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
Okay. All right. So skipping forward, how many kids altogether, did you have, including, kids, stepkids, fosters, everything?
Well, okay.
Start from the beginning.
All right. Well, I had Kelly and Valley.
Right.
And they were born in the same hospital that Jim was born in.
Ah,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yes. And then I had one living child. So altogether, I had 8 pregnancies.
Which was your dad, the living child.
Yeah,
Right.
And then I lost 2 little girls when my uterus ruptured.
Mm-hmm.
Amanda Kate and Leah. And then there was another little boy that was born, not alive,
Mm-hmm.
and he was buried at the hospital's cemetery.
Now, did you have a name for him or no?
For him, we did not have a name.
Okay.
If we did, I don't remember what it was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. But the girls, of course, we did because
He was early in the pregnancy.
Yeah, about 3 months or something like that.
Right.
And Leah was full time because I had so many miscarriages. They took me to the hospital to start my labor.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in labor and I was not doing anything. So my uterus ruptured. And that what happens then is they just throw that baby out into your abdomen and they drown. And you are losing all that blood. So at that particular time, I had like 14 pints of blood. It was a mess. And
wow.
then I had Cole like 18 months later.
Okay.
And that was a cesarean section. And he was born with hyaline membrane, which I don't know the word for what it is now.
Respiratory distress syndrome.
Okay. And President Kennedy's son had died like in August from the same thing at birth that Cole was born with. But on Thanksgiving Day of 1960, we got to hold him for the first time.
Oh.
That was quite a blessing.
So you didn't hold him for a couple of days then?
So 4.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah, he wasn't that on Thanksgiving Day. He was born on a Monday morning. On Thanksgiving, they said he would be okay.
Right. Wow. Interesting.
And I'm telling you what, talking about studying the scriptures, if we looked at every psalm there was, and we have one for Cole, it's Psalm 30.
And do you know what that is off the top of your head?
Well, it talks about how that do you know how it goes?
Yeah, well, it's basically there's sadness in the night, but there's joy in the morning.
Joy comes in. And then I also said the last verse 12 says that I will give you thanks forever. And I know Cole's a piece of work, but
he is.
God thanks for him. I wouldn't take anything from him. But I feel the same way about all my children,
Yes.
But it was so wonderful to have a living child.
Yes.
It's just so wonderful. And then let's see, it was in 1968 that we were transferred to Lexington, and I was pregnant with Amanda Kate.
Okay.
And they had told me that because my uterus everybody wanted me to get rid of my uterus anyway, except at the hospital. But I woke up in the morning on the 3rd of June, and also Leah was born on the 3rd day of June. And I was in terrible pain. And when your uterus ruptures, it's just one hard pain. And
Oh,
so
that's
I
terrible.
knew what was happening. And so Jim, took me to the hospital, but that one went a lot better. Now she weighed 4 pounds and something. She could have lived had the same thing not had happened to her that happened to Leah, but she was beautiful.
That's so sad. So, did she die pass away on the same day, June 3rd?
They never, no, they never live. They
Right.
die.
Or was it the same day?
She died on the way to the hospital, I'm sure.
Right, but it wasn't the same anniversary date or day as
the same one.
Wow.
And I'm telling you, Kaylee,
and it was a miracle that Elaine lived, really.
Well,
yeah.
When a uterus ruptures and you're in the hospital, they can get to you right away. But if it ruptures and you're at home, you have almost no time to.
That's wild.
Like a maniac, but anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
we still do, but.
So anyway, but we didn't have any more miscarriages because we were in a Baptist hospital then, and they took my uterus. That took care of it. But we had 3 foster children.
Yes.
And we still stay in touch with the daughter Betty. In fact, she read your thing about your granddad.
Yeah.
You know who she is?
Yes. She's got dark hair. Yeah. I think we're friends on Facebook now.
Yeah.
Yeah. She sent us a beautiful letter just a couple of days ago, as a matter of
fact. Yeah, it was precious.
That's awesome.
I'll send you a copy of it.
Okay. I would love to read it.
Yeah, you would.
Because you know how I am.
I know.
But what I'd like to say is that, we actually had 8 kids in the house. We had 5 children. We had the 2 foster children. And then the third one was a friend of Kelly's, who he was abused by his father. So he just came to live with us. So, but everything I thought was always very orderly in our house. Our house
I believe it.
I mean, they didn't mess up stuff. Everybody took care of their own bedroom. We all ate we had dinner at the table all together, and
every night.
Yeah,
I think they love that. Yeah.
Yeah, and Cole would be the one who usually entertained us all.
Oh,
yes.
Cole did too, because they were so far apart. But I'm telling you what, those were some good times.
Yes. Yeah. Dad said he loved those memories at the dinner table, and yeah, he still entertains everybody at the dinner table.
Well, and then you'd ask the question, well, what was it like when they left? It was really kind of.
She has to leave.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Oh no, it's fine. Like, how was life during the booming years? When I say that was just everybody, but I mean, I just think it'd be cool, but only if I was like grandma and was orderly and neat, because it would be pure chaos if it was. That's a lot to handle.
Well, it is. Now, where are we now?
Okay, so how was life when everyone moved out of the house? Because you had all that chaos in a good way and racket, and then it's quiet.
Well, it kind of like because they were like 17 years from the beginning to the end.
Yeah.
They left slowly, and sometimes they came back.
Yeah.
And brought kids with them.
Right.
But we always managed. Now, I'm not going to tell you it was always easy.
Yeah.
But it always worked out.
But actually, I think when the last kid left, which was really Kirsten.
Yeah.
But coincidentally, my company sent me to Jacksonville on a special assignment, which we thought was going to be about 6 or 8 months. It turned out to be almost 2 years. But anyway, Elaine and I moved together. We moved to the beach, and we weren't in one of those high-rise condos. We were in a small condo that was only 3 stories, and we lived there for 8 months.
You remember that?
I don't remember that. I remember the high-rise. I have a memory from there.
I have pictures of me pulling you and Clay in a wagon on the beach.
On the beach.
Okay.
During that time. But anyway, Elaine said it was kind of like being on vacation. I mean, I was working, of course, but I had an office in town to work out of, but I could come home at night to the beach. So, I mean, that was really.
Y'all did that together with no kids. Was
no kids at all.
Was that transition okay?
Oh, it's great.
Okay.
And what also was wonderful is that every weekend we had company, and many of that times it would be you know, your family, Kelly, well, I don't think Kelly, I don't remember him coming, but Brenda came on the train. She brought her 3 kids. They were tiny. I'm telling you what.
Anything to get a break, right? 3 kids.
Yeah, we had a lot of visitors while we were on the beach.
We had a lot of fun.
I think anybody has visitors when you're on the beach, but when it's you guys, you know.
Yeah, well, that was a great time. And at that time, I was running a lot. I mean, I was doing marathons, and I could just run on the beach. It was a solid beach. You could drive on the beach.
Right.
But I walked every day. I walked every day. I think I walked about 10 miles.
Yeah.
But it was wonderful because I didn't have that many responsibilities because I'd always worked at different jobs, you know.
Right.
It was
and
nice.
then taking care of all those kids, it's a lot.
I tell you, when you've got a good husband, it's not bad. And Jim was always good.
You're very lucky, very lucky. Okay, so I put a question before what I was supposed to do. So I'm gonna what keeps the marriage going, or explain how it feels to be a parent or grandparent. So which one do you want to do first? Because we were talking about your marriage. So you want us to do what keeps your marriage going?
It's fine. I have to find I've got so many papers here. Let's see.
I guess everybody has different like love languages. Well, so
let me share. I wrote out about the one about would you marry again?
Yes, I'll love to hear. Yeah.
So that kind of tells how I feel about it. So the question is, would I do it again? And my first comment is, are you kidding? In my opinion, I have the best marriage I've ever seen in other couples. I'm not in a haze anymore. I know exactly what I have and who I have. And I'm way more in love now than I was when I was 24 years old. Elaine has helped me grow as a Christian, a father, and as a business executive. Mm-hmm. Someone who can make a difference in life. I'm more outgoing now. And any business success I've had, which has been really pretty nice, I really feel like I owe it, much of it or most of it, to her. I think I think she is just as pretty as she was when I married her 60 years ago or 60 plus years ago. She has helped us to stay young and involved in life. We've had wonderful kids, warts and all. Most of them did have a few warts. She has helped me to be a good father. So aside from a few bumps, Elaine has made me the happiest man ever. And of course, I would do it all over again. Okay.
Well,
so sweet.
Let's see. I do want to share. Let's see. I don't know where to put this. You asked a question. Has our life gone fast or slow?
Yes, yeah.
And for me, when I consider that we're talking about nearly 61 years, it's gone quickly. I wish that we had another 60 years.
Ugh, that would be amazing.
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Wonderful.
And then you wanted us to give you some marriage and life advice.
Yes.
For you children.
For all of us, everybody.
Yes, for you all. And what would I give? What I would give for now? What I knew back then? Well, I'm just going to share with you.
Yeah.
What I've written.
Right.
I put. This is a tough one, but for me, I think trust is the most important.
Yeah, that's hard.
This is my first marriage because he was not trustworthy. So I felt that all men were that way, but it took some time for. Jim proved that he was totally trustworthy. So that all passed. I think spending time together, and in particular, after the children come along, to work it out, to have family time, but also couple time.
Right.
And when we had been married 10 years, we just moved to Morristown, Tennessee. A very wise woman who I still am friends with. In fact, that's where the coffee cake recipe came from.
Okay.
And we were talking, we're just in a conversation, and she told me that the importance of not putting your children ahead of your husband. She said, it's the most important thing in a marriage. You've got to put your husband first.
Mm-hmm.
I was totally flabbergasted because I thought I was supposed to put my children first.
Mm-hmm.
I had never heard this before, ever.
Right.
And she says, you know, they're going to grow up, they're going to move away, get married, or whatever it is the kids do.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got this stranger if he hasn't been your friend all
Right.
this time. And I believe with all my heart, that's why so many people get divorces. Like
Yes.
they've been married about 20 years.
Yep.
So I thought, let me just skip it. Well, it made a very big impact on me. I don't know that Jim knew when all this was happening. I don't remember it. I do love my children very much.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Jim too. I made him important.
Yes.
The most important thing in my life.
No, I remember when she told you that.
Yeah.
You shared that with me.
You've always shared that too with at least me. I feel like you've probably told everybody that. So that's helped a lot.
Well, and you know, if you don't know that, you can't do that.
Exactly.
And some couples, the wife just does everything with the kids, and sometimes they don't even get vacations.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway, another important thing is to bring your children up to know the Lord Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that, I think that to see your parents pray together
Mm-hmm.
is really important. I mean, that's not always possible when you first marry a person,
Yeah.
but I believe you can believe for that and it can come to pass.
Mm-hmm.
And then we never really had any time alone because when we got married, we had a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old.
Right.
So, but I had a friend after I received Christ after Jim did, like a year and a half after we got married.
Right.
I mean, I'd gone to church all my life, but
Yeah.
I really came to know Jesus as my Savior from John
Right.
3:16. Let me see what.
Oh yeah. Let's so.
I just wanted to say this. I had a Christian friend. Her name was Jean Veal.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to be just like her. She could play the piano. She could sing. She could teach Bible studies. And of course, I couldn't do any of that then. But I began. It's been like 58 years ago that I began having my daily devotions. And I do it. And when I die and you kids go through the house, you're going to have 500,000 devotional books to
like with notes all over them.
Oh no, they're just my notes.
Yep. Notes all over them. Yep.
So it will help any marriage and any life. Okay.
Granddad, do you have advice on marriage?
Yeah, mine was that first of all, you have to work at marriage. Okay.
Yes.
It just doesn't come easy. You have to talk through. You have to be willing to talk to each other. Okay. Even if you're angry, you got to talk to each other. You don't ever give up. And also you must respect the differences because you can't expect your partner or your marriage partner to be like you or to want to do everything you want to do. You have to respect. Elaine and I are different personalities, and she needs to respect my personality, and I need to respect hers. So,
how's that gone?
I think it's gone pretty well. I made a note here. She can get upset very easily, okay? But she very quickly gets over it very quickly. So
yes.
It doesn't last.
Thank God, right?
Really. Because I don't like being mad.
I don't either. Yeah.
I want to go ahead and I don't know where this fits anymore. My thoughts of Jim. First off, I still get upset with Jim.
Mm-hmm.
Way less often than I used to be. But treating each other the way we like to be treated is a big help too. If I treat him and make him do things special for him, I mean, like for his breakfast, he always gets a special napkin.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just the way it is. I put the milk for his cereal in a pitcher.
Right. I love it.
It's just weird, but I can't help it. Everything is like a party to me.
Yeah.
I make a party out of breakfast.
Yes, you make things not boring.
Well, I just can't help it. Oh my gosh. And In April, this is good. In April, we'll be married 61 years. And when I sit across the room from him, in honesty, my heart is totally touched. Sometimes, I mean, I take a deep breath. In the mornings when we have our prayer time together, and he's sitting there all dressed up to go to work, I mean, I just think he's gorgeous. And I'm not lying.
I love it. I love it.
I think he's so handsome still.
Oh,
When we
I just love
sit
it.
in our living room, listening to music, enjoying a glass of wine with the fireplace on, it's like just like we're still young. I don't know that we're old until we take our clothes off.
That's right. Well, I haven't seen that yet, but
You're not going to either, buddy.
That's why I keep working, so I can have a long sleeve dress shirt and a
That's right.
towel, and everything is covered up.
I think y'all just have good chemistry. Like, it has to be chemistry, like natural chemistry, because you're always like, got your hands together or giving each other a kiss or a pat on the rear.
Well, yeah.
So natural. You're so lucky.
Well, we have worked at it, Kaylee.
Okay, all right.
And I know that my love for Jim is more than when we married. I know also that each day is important, not to be wasted, for we have no assurance of tomorrow.
That's
and
right.
Nobody does. It's important how we say our goodbyes in the morning, not only to our husband, but also to our children as they leave for school.
Yep.
All of those things are so important. If Jim went off mad, no, not Jim going off mad. If Jim went off and I was acting like the back end of a horse and he had an accident or something, I'd have that in my memory for the rest of my life.
Right.
That'd be horrible.
Right.
Yeah, usually when that happens, at maybe around 11 o'clock in the morning or 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I'll get an email at work that says, sorry for acting like such a horse's butt.
Yes. Yes. Well, see, but it's so glad that she doesn't hold grudges forever. It's okay to have a little temper, but as long as you get over it.
Well, it's a sin to hold a grudge.
Oh, yeah.
It totally
Not
is.
to have temper, yeah.
Yeah, and because if
nobody's
I don't
perfect.
forgive others, I can't get my own self forgiven.
That's
I mean,
seriously.
that's tough too.
That's pretty big right there.
I don't know. Is there anything else?
Oh, yes. Okay. So tell me about like your social life. Like you guys have a good social life. You're in your 80s and you guys go out more than your grandkids. As far as like, do you like, you guys just like to do that together, or do you make yourselves go out? Because I mean, sometimes I'm just tired and I'm like, grandma and granddad are probably out right now.
Yeah, but, well, you've got little children at home still.
Yeah.
So you can't be going out every night.
Well, everything we do is together. I mean, I don't really want to go anywhere at night by myself. And sometimes Elaine will say, well, why don't you just go stop at the restaurant and have dinner by yourself? I don't want to do that. I mean, it's just.
You think though, like also you guys have people that are around you that are younger than you or something, because you feel it's like you don't act, like, how some people your age are like in wheelchairs and like slumping around. And like you guys, like I just in my brain, I'm in denial like that you're going to live another 50 years because of the way you act.
Well,
like you have energy and you're like, it's just nice.
Well, I think most of our friends are younger than us. Okay, there aren't that many people our age to hang around with. And like you say, most people at our age don't really care to go out or do anything. But
yeah,
we go out to. I mean, even during this pandemic, I go to work every day. I like to go out to eat at night.
Yes.
So
I'm not going to hide myself away.
But I've enjoyed cooking. I truly have done
okay.
a lot of that.
Yeah, Elaine has cooked some special meals, and
we saved a lot of money too.
I bet. Whew, I bet.
Well, we don't have any of it, but we have saved it.
Yeah, you spent your savings account on going out. Okay, this is a good one. What is one thing you want to be remembered by? So you each have to take a turn.
Well, I can't find. Oh, here it is. I think what I would like to be remembered by my children, grandchildren, everybody, that I was somebody they could always talk to,
Yeah.
and that I would always pray for them.
Oh,
And
for
they knew
sure.
that. Yeah. So I think that's what I want.
For a lot of people that will see this and not know, like, I always call you Jesus' sister, because every time you prayed for me, something got better. Even if I was at the beach and I wanted the clouds to go away, you'd pray for the clouds to go away and the sun would come out.
But you know, day before yesterday, when you prayed that sweet prayer, I'll keep that forever.
Yeah.
I immediately, I mean, I don't know, Kaylee, when I ever got over vertigo the way I did this time.
Wow,
I didn't.
weird.
I mean, it's amazing.
That is
isn't
so
it, Jim?
strange.
I mean, I didn't have to go get that Epley maneuver.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Yeah. It sounds terrible.
It is. Take my word for it.
But you're tough.
Yeah.
You are.
Well, God, He has a. I mean, He had a plan for me, or I wouldn't still be here because I should be dead.
I know. You've been through a lot.
Yeah. So I mean,
nuts. So you and Dad are just gonna live forever.
Yeah. Well, I would like to be. I'd like to be remembered as a person who is very loving to all the people around me. Kind of remind me even my dad. I had to get an emergency release from the Army to come home when my dad was dying, and he actually died while I was in the airplane coming. So when we went to the funeral home, there were grown men there. They were crying and just telling me what a wonderful person my dad was. You know, I'd like to be remembered the same way.
Oh,
Really.
Granddad, you are. Trust me.
yeah, yeah, that's for sure.
Okay, let's move on to so tell us one thing that you love or admire about the other. So
Don't know where I wrote that. Jim's notes are
Yeah.
so nice. Mine are just splattered everywhere.
Well, mine are a little more organized, maybe. But for Elaine, it's her perseverance and her commitment. She just is like a dog with a bone. I mean, when she wants to get something done, she's just going to get it done.
yes,
Just like you.
yeah,
So anyway,
yes.
I wish I had about 10 people working for me who were as
Elaine's.
committed as Elaine. Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh, you should be like a bunch of Elaine's at the White House. Man, they'd be getting stuff done.
Well, you know that when I was like 50, in my 50s, early 50s, that I'd always wanted to be a teacher. That's what I wanted to be as a little girl. I either wanted to be a teacher or an interior decorator.
Mm.
Well, then I got married so young and had children that I had to drop out of school.
Mm-hmm.
So I never told anybody that I never finished high school.
Right.
They never asked me because they all assumed I had.
Right.
So anyway, I was going to be a substitute teacher.
Mm-hmm.
That was my goal. And in order to be a substitute teacher, you had to have a high school graduation
Right.
in Osceola County.
Okay.
And so I thought, well, I can't do that. I'd never passed that Jeopardy test, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I never passed anything. And so I prayed about it, and the Lord gave me a verse. I'm not going to look it up right now, but it talks about how whatever I do, I can scale a wall with Him.
Ah.
So, and the only reason I told anybody was my prayer partner says, well, just go apply. I said, well, I can't. And then I had to tell her, and it was like 100 years later. So I did apply, and I did the best that anybody had ever done in Osceola County. And the next year, I gave the talk at the graduation.
That is really cool.
I mean, that's so thrilling. And then
That's
I
so
also,
cool. I didn't know you gave the talk.
yeah, I did. And so then in January that year, I started school at, what is that? Valencia.
Ah,
Cole and I were in the same class.
that's crazy.
We worked at Gatorland at the time, and we had speech class together. That was the most fun.
I bet that was
Well,
wild.
I never tell anybody that I don't have a college education.
Yes.
I'm not ashamed of it necessarily. It's just I mean, everybody thinks that I must have a master's in hospital administration or something like that, which I don't. I just got a lot of good breaks in life, and you know, people, you know, the little interview you did with me before, when I mentioned that, and Betty wrote about this, our foster daughter who's in Texas, that when people like you, they'll reach down and give you a hand and help you. But if they don't like you, they're not going to do anything for you. Yeah. And I always had people that liked me and would give me a break, give me a chance to do something that normally I would, because of the lack of education, would never be able to do.
Right.
As far as college degrees are concerned, right now I'm beginning to wonder how valuable they are when I see what some of the kids that are coming out of these high, I don't know. I don't want to get on that.
I know.
I wonder if they learned anything except how to protest.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, we probably shouldn't. What if one of the grandkids is a protester that's going to receive this? So we probably shouldn't talk about it. I understand. I think I don't have an education to get me where I am right now, but you know, if I work for somebody else, maybe they would require it. So it's just really, I think it's like luck and your personality and who you're around. It's really wild. You know, it really is.
I do think that. I think that there's something in Kaylee that you have that same drive, that same, whatever you say is going to happen, it's going to happen. And it's probably going to happen better than we even were told it's going to happen. You know, it's wonderful.
It's the thing, if you just want something bad enough, you can get it, you know?
I feel that way.
Yeah. Some people say they do, but they don't really, their actions don't show it. So you just have to really, truly want it.
I think another of my favorite words, perseverance, is really important.
Yeah.
But to me, that's the thought, is just keep on keeping on. Yeah. And when you need something or want something, you just start doing it and just keep doing it until it's done.
Well, you know, it's good to have role models because like you guys have evolved like you're supposed to. Like some people don't evolve, but you guys have evolved like better and better and better and better. And that's like what I look up to, is to be like be better than I was last year. But that's not I learned that from you guys and influences. So I just love y'all so much.
Well, you know, when we moved to from Tennessee to Kissimmee, I didn't want to go at all. And every day I read a psalm. And this particular day, after we had come back from Kissimmee, and it was so awfully ugly, and all I could do was cry, thinking I was going to leave my pretty home in Tennessee. The Lord gave me a scripture from the Psalms, and it talked about being transported or
transplanted to the land of the palm trees.
Yeah. And
that's wild.
So then I said, well, I guess that's where we're going. But the last verse in that particular psalm talks about, and I claimed it then, and I was only 44 years old, that when I was old, that I would still be vital and green and growing.
That's pretty cool, because you are.
Well, and I'm so glad I claimed that. What if I did? I might be old and ugly.
Seriously, Granddad might be sitting with his second wife right now.
And I'd have to hit him.
Oh,
Lord.
Well, do you have any final thoughts, Granddad, before we?
Well, I wrote a page, and I don't know if it came from you or Elaine then. What am I hoping for in my future?
It's good.
Was that from you? Okay.
No,
but I want to hear it. Yeah.
Okay. What am I hoping for in my future? All right. And these are bullet points. I don't know how many years Elaine and I have left, but I want our minds to remain sharp, even to the very end. That's my number one thing. I want to be able to take care of ourselves and not have to rely on our children. I would like to work another 5 years and hope that my board of directors would want me to. I'm anxious for Elaine and I to get back to Ireland and see the kids over there again. I wish for Elaine to continue to be happy with me as she is now.
She has no choice. Y'all been together too long.
I want to continue to have friends that we can party with and play games with. I want to have a lot of interest in things to keep me busy when and if I retire. I want to play my bass again.
Oh, yes.
I'd love that.
Yes, please.
I want Elaine and I to travel to some places where we've never been before. I'd like to visit some old friends from the past, like in Morristown, Tennessee, Minnesota, Louisville, those places. I wanted to take Elaine to another high school reunion and show her off to whoever's still alive there.
Yeah, we got to find some live people first.
We got to go quickly or they'll all be gone. This sounds morbid, but I don't want to die a lingering death, but just let the Lord take me quickly whenever
Yes.
He's ready for me.
That's right.
And I don't want either of us to be alone for too long at the end. So
Okay.
be fine with me if we conked out together.
That's right. Sometimes that happens.
It does happen.
Yeah.
Yep.
So would you like to tell Alexa to play Stevie Wonder and y'all pour a bottle of Prosecco?
I don't think you're going to be able to see us dance, but yeah, I'll go get the Prosecco, all right?
Got it. You get the Prosecco and you do Stevie Wonder, Grandma.
Okay. What's the name of that song?
A-S.
Okay. Alexa, would you play the song A.S. by Stevie Wonder?
Here's Ask by Stevie Wonder on Amazon Music.
Did she not get it? Ah, she did.
Is it loud enough?
You can turn it up a little bit.
Alexa, louder.
Yeah, okay. One more time. Up one more time.
Okay. Alexa, louder one more time.
I'm not gonna be as classy as you guys. I'm gonna take a sip of this beer.
Alexa, louder. Is it okay?
Yeah. Where's Granddad?
Opening the Prosecco. You have a glass?
The cheers.
See, this is yours. This is mine.
Well, you want to pour?
Sure. Let me pour yours first.
The first time I played this song, I started bawling my eyes out like a little baby.
This sounds like a little too fast to dance to.
Well, we can just cheers. We don't have to dance. We'll just cheers, and
This has been so much fun.
I loved it. I loved it.
Have you got a glass?
She's got
I have a can. You want to cheers? You ready?
uh-huh.
Cheers!
Cheers.
I love you guys.
We love you, honey.
Granddad, did you enjoy it?
Yep. Yes, I did.
I love you guys.
I love you too, honey.
Okay, I'm going to send this to you in just a little bit.
You're going to do what?
I'm going to send it to you in just a little bit.
Okay.
I'm going to send it to your email. Okay,
You have
and
a fun time tonight, okay?
I will.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
Enjoy yourself.
I'll let you know. I'll send you pictures.
Okay, be sure and tell your dad he looks handsome.
Oh, I will. I will.